Hello and welcome to Classic Judging by the Cover, the series with more saggy bits than a ham sandwich in a downpour, where we'll be judging Bad Street Brawler by the cover. Bad Street Brawler is proudly presented to us by the Power Glove gaming series, and consequently the image places into focus the part of the body on which you're supposed to wear the Power Glove, as modelled by a bloke who made the mistake of blocking Duke Nukem's favourite jogging route. And if we turn the cover upside down, we can get a better look at this poor bastard and discover that he somehow resembles both Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson, perhaps having been conceived during an indiscretion at the Batman launch party. We also learn that his hand isn't huge because of perspective, it's swelled with blood and internal organs because he put on a belt that's about 9 sizes too small. The tagline is what first fired my interest in this cover: Thug Thrashing Defender of Freedom. Because apparently I completely misinterpreted the image. I assumed the guy in the shades was the hero, since it was de rigueur around this era for heroes to look like they just got picked up from the drunk tank at Malibu Beach. But according to the tagline, he's a thug, presently thrashing the Defender of Freedom flying towards the camera. Surely not, Yati, you cry. Surely the tagline is referring to a Defender of Freedom who happens to engage in thug thrashing. But that can't be right, then the sentence wouldn't have a verb. And a sentence without a verb is like a dog with no legs, a very underwhelming jogging partner. Anyway, the real story for me is going on in the background here. On the left we see a punk walking his pet chimp, who rages impotently at nothing in particular because the chimp just shat on his foot. And he doesn't want to get mad at the chimp because he's a responsible pet owner and understands that animals respond better to positive reinforcement, but no amount of belly rubs is going to remove the shit from his foot. And on the other side of the image we have 2 wholesome-looking fellows doing something or other. First instinct tells me it's some kind of logical evolution of a high five that also incorporates a foot bounce. Either that, or this is the middle of a self-defense demonstration in which the instructor demonstrates how to fend off attacks from someone while simultaneously attaching a kick-me sign to the back of their shirt. This was the box art for the NES version, and it makes rather an interesting contrast with the box art for the DOS version, which rather reflects the different mindset between the 2 audiences. Console owners want a paranoid me-against-the-horde macho power fantasy, whereas PC owners are more community-oriented and like to see a heartwarming tale of the Olympic athletics team and the local retirement community joining forces against a guerrilla Vivian from the Young Ones, and I think that might be Henry Kissinger in the top left. As for the motivations behind the conflict, I notice Henry is pointing angrily at the graffitied title in the background to inform the athlete and grandma gang that they chose the wrong street to start spraying their tags around. There's no clear view of the name of the criminal organisation they have stitched onto their biker vests, but we can piece together from the various glimpses that they're called Tugs. So presumably they're also cross at the heroes for muscling in on their hand job services. Anyway, Bad Street Brawler was only the game's title in the US, where the streets are notoriously bad. But in some countries, the game was known as... Sorry, my mind wandered for a bit there. What was I talking about? Oh yeah, in some countries, the game was known as Street Hassle. And I think America got the better deal there. Hassle isn't a word I'd use for an exciting battle for life and limb. It's like if they'd called it Street Bother, or Street Annoyance. Not that the protagonist doesn't feel hassled, I'm sure, now that relations between the athletics team and the elderly seem to have broken down. Maybe I'm misinterpreting the old lady's outstretched fist there. Maybe she's just extending an arm so that her monkey friend can demonstrate his limbo dancing ability. Now, if one were one of those tiresomely politically correct busybodies of the social media age, one could easily take offence at some of the imagery here. Our hero is a platinum blonde dude, so Whitey appears to be getting sunburn from the yellow lining of his vest, and he's being attacked by a young Barack Obama. And as is always the case, Barack Obama represents all black people. They all like basketball, victimizing honkies, and they all have something seriously wrong with their knees. This cover also perpetuates negative stereotypes about Eastern European immigrant blue-collar workers, who apparently don't even know how to pick their own noses and require assistance from the more evolved races. And lastly, this cover has nothing positive to say about the proud and noble race of Clint Eastwood impersonators, one of whom is holding an armed explosive device right up to his face. Damn, what does the spark on the end of this bit of string mean? He wonders aloud. I'll keep an eye on it and make sure it doesn't cause a street annoyance.